Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmonk to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while we keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Kaili from Job Nimbus, Vice President of Marketing with them. How are you doing today, Kaili?
Doing great.
Great to have you on today's episode. I'm sure our listeners are tuning in, wondering what Job Nimbus is all about. So let's kick it off with that. In your own words, can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, so first and foremost, our mission statement is to make contractors heroes. So what Job Nimbus does, we do project management and CRM software specifically for the roofing industry. So hyper-focused on kind of like the blue-collar lifeblood of America going on.
Definitely, that's great to hear. And so that way our listeners who are tuning in could get a good understanding then, what problems then do you solve for your clients?
So communication, scheduling, kind of the issues that, like, I'm remodeling a house right now, so I've worked with a lot of contractors, just trying to make sure everyone's on the same page. We know when people are showing up. They know when they're getting paid. I know when they're having, like, needing to get in my house and how to. So kind of just making sure from start, got a job closed all the way to done, 5-star review. We're trying to handle that whole issue for them, make sure they stay organized on top of everything and just take it off their plate because it's a lot. It's a hard thing to do, especially when you deal with a lot of people's homes.
Definitely would agree. And you're out there in the job, right? You're mostly focused on none other things than the administrative part. So great stuff from you guys. So then would it be fair to say is your ideal ICP is roofer and companies?
Yep, roofing, and the ones that have been around for a little bit, so like 3 or more users, once they have their first like real hire, like have someone in the like kind of their office admin, we try to make their lives a lot easier, so they're not just doing all the phone calls and pen and paper for the owner. So once they're a little bit more established, we're their bread and butter. We love them. They're fantastic for us.
Definitely. All right. And so how does someone usually find out about Job Nimbus? Is there a top client acquisition channel that you guys have?
We do a lot with paid ads, but we've gotten big enough because we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary last year. And we have a fairly niche market. So we've done a lot of event stuff and brand awareness. So most of our stuff, even from paid and organic, comes from searching our brand terms. So thankfully, our name's out there enough in the marketplace that people tend to hear about us and look us up.
Definitely. And that's always important, right?
That's the dream.
No, definitely. And so that way, our listeners who are tuning in can visit you guys. You can check them out at jobnimbus.com. What role would you say the website plays for client acquisition then?
It's a super critical role. As we've gotten bigger and as this industry has changed, we've got a lot more competitors coming into the space. So now people aren't just Googling Job Nimbus and signing up. Now they're pulling up our different competitors. So the website's a really simple, effective way to immediately showcase how we're different. So it's a critical role and ways to kind of stand out from the competitive aspect that our industry is becoming. So it's been a good waypoint for people to kind of check out, get a vibe for who we are and compare us directly to the other competitors in our space.
Definitely. Okay, awesome. Great. And well, so that way, if there's some tools or tips or methods that you could recommend to our listeners as far as some website lead generation, what would they be in case?
So there's a couple, and one of them is just optimizing your forms and what you're asking. One of my favorite things that I started asking, and this I found out by a mistake. I'm a huge advocate of testing, like A/B testing all the way on all the conversion points. I started asking what your favorite TV show is. It was meant as a test just to get personality data. It actually increased the conversion rate of my forms by 12%. And I realized as we got into it, everyone wants the opportunity to prove that they're a human and prove that they're an individual. So when you ask those kind of qualitative questions about them specifically, the personality, not their company, they fill it out more, which was kind of funny. Like we ran it for a few different tests and tries. We're trying to do it more on a company level, but that one's been harder to crack. But yeah, it's just trying to make sure that we're connecting with them as a person on the forms, not just for their money, because that's not the point. Like, we're trying to make contractors heroes to help them all grow. So connecting them as an individual, even though something like a pricing request form, it shows in the conversion, which that was cool to find out and run into. And there's a lot of patterns on that one too. I could tell you my personas and their favorite TV shows on the pattern. So that's fun. It's a fun piece of marketing. But the second part of it, we redesigned our website last year. We're going to do another redesign this year probably. And one of the things that we realized that we kept falling into is the pages we liked and our competitors, we were just looking too similar. So even though it's totally best practices, you can see everything, it laid out, everything made sense, and it wasn't bad to try to match, we're like, we have to be different. So we changed our website to have more, because, we make contractors heroes. We're a bunch of nerds here. All our rooms are named after like video games and book series and TV series and stuff. And Hogwarts is one of our most popular conference rooms. We're just kind of a bunch of nerds. So we try to add like this comic book gradient effect. Like, we try to visually stand out from our competition past what most SaaS companies do. We're trying to insert our personality. And it did impact our conversion rates, but more importantly, it just helped us stand out more. And our competitors end up like changing their website to try to match it more, which, you do a good job when people are trying to do what you're doing. So just trying to like we had a good look at all the competitor pages, made sure we did not look like them as much as possible where it made sense, and just put our personality and our brand a little bit more into it.
Definitely love that, right? The personality, that question that you asked, right? Hey, what's your favorite TV show? I think that sense of tone, right? So definitely great, awesome there from you guys. Well, let's talk about you then, right? I'm sure you came up with that. Let's talk about you as a leader, you being the VP of marketing. What are some key tasks you focus on your day-to-day work?
So at the end of the day, revenue, if I'm not hitting revenue, I get to talk to the board about it, which, as anyone in the marketing, you know how fun that is. And we work very closely with sales. I got to tell you, I struck gold working with Nick Powell. He's our VP of sales here. And we have the most collaborative relationship I've had with marketing and sales ever in my career. And he said something similar. So to be able to work in tandem all the time as a group and make that a priority in our weekly syncs and in our stand-ups, we make sure that we are in sync. So that's part of my day-to-day. The other part of it is I'm a huge believer that my job is to become useless. My whole point is to processize everything and empower my team to make their own decisions. My job is to give them parameters and be a mentor and remove roadblocks. So we have a daily stand-up. We have our scorecard. We look at it every week in our L10, so our weekly meeting with everyone's metrics, and everyone owns it. So most of my day is making sure, okay, are the numbers right? If they're off, why are they off? What's the plan? Just trying to keep the process moving along in all of our marketing. And then make sure on our daily stand-up, are there any big roadblocks that need to be moved for us to hit our campaign deadlines? Basically, my job is a glorified project manager. And then I just try to empower people to keep leveling up in what they're doing.
Exactly what somebody's looking for a leader, right? Not to micromanage, but to let them grow, so that way they could do on the best. So great stuff from there, Kaili. Thank you so much for that. Well, let's jump into our next section here, Kaili. It's our rapid fire question round. So you ready for them?
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. First off, what is the last book that you read?
The Dictator's Handbook.
All right. Interesting.
It's a great book. We'll talk about later.
All right. Was it recommended, or was something that you picked up?
No, I study cyber psychology. And so when you're studying like propaganda and dictator methods, you actually learn a lot about behavioral science and marketing. So I sound like slightly sociopathic, but I promise I'm not. But honestly, like studying behavioral psychology and dictator methods and like the prints and stuff, you actually get to see what people resonate with more on a more extreme level. So I actually get a lot of ideas. That sounds so sociopathic, but I do get a lot of ideas from what people have done in those situations to see how to nudge people and encourage people to pay attention to messages.
Awesome. Hey, well, for our readers, check it out. All right. Like it's a good read. So definitely check it out, guys. Next is, what is one single thing that your company is focused on at the moment the most?
We are rehauling what we're known for in the market right now. We just had an acquisition of a company called Sumo Quote. They're phenomenal. They do quoting software, proposal software. So if you've ever worked with a contractor, you get a mixed response. You get people like, okay, thanks for that. I'll email you with a bid later. They have a software where here's your good, better, best options. You can sign up now, pick your one and sign it and be done on site, which is really nice. It's a cool experience for the homeowner. They get a very visual representation of what they're buying. They get to pick their own options. It's really fun. So we in our industry have had a weak point with like creating that good experience for the homeowner. So we just acquired Sumo Quote to help us fulfill that need. And we're just trying to amplify and be a lot more homeowner centric this year with our product and our marketing. So that's one big thing we're focused on is what are we doing to help the contractors, help their customers, help the homeowners have a really great experience. So that's what we're focused on as a marketing team this year. And it comes great.
Yep. So next, Kaili, if there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
Yeah, I've actually thought a lot about this because AI is a very interesting thing, and I know it's a hot button topic. But one of the things I realized is we're terrible overall in our industry and as people specifying exactly what we're looking for and need. So like AI is awesome, but unless you know exactly what you're asking for, it doesn't actually do what you want it to do. So I think if I could find a way to teach or implement, like find out exactly what you're trying to ask and identify, then all the tools are kind of there. Like that helps you hire the right talent, whether it's offshore or onshore. You can work with AI, like finding a way to identify the right request or right question. That would be the best problem to solve on every level.
Definitely. I think that prompting, right? Once you get it down, it works beautifully. But before that, it could be a hassle.
Yeah. So I think to cheat that, like I'm all for it.
So then next is if there's one repetitive task that you could automate, what would that be?
Or a task I could automate, just communication internally. A lot of the conversations where we get stuff done is this one-on-one verbal or in Slack. So like find a way to just remember or be reminded to let people know en masse. Like when we have like a go-to-market campaign or something like that, I'll have one-off conversations and I forget to like make it comprehensive and update a full channel. So just finding a way to kind of automate or get reminders of don't forget to update this on scale would help solve a lot of internal communication issues that I personally have.
All right. Awesome. Great to hear that. And well, lastly, Kaili, you have a lot of experience already in the marketing world, but what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
No one knows what they're doing most of the time. Don't get your own way. Like test everything, ask dumb questions. Everyone's learning, and that's the best part about marketing. It constantly evolves. So even if someone's an expert today, doesn't make them an expert tomorrow. Like knowing how to learn and adapt is probably your best skill set. So just lean into it and don't feel bad when you don't know the answer yet.
I would totally agree. That's some great advice, right? I think everybody's scared and panic of what the result is, but without knowing results and testing, it can be hard. So definitely some great advice there from you, Kaili. Well, Kaili, thanks a lot for being on the show with us today. I do want to give you the last word. If someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about Job Nimbus?
We want to make sure that there's no more bad contractor stories, just good contractor stories. And we're doing everything we can to make that happen.
Definitely, right? Like they mentioned, suit up. It's hero time. Check them out at jobnimbus.com. Kaili, thank you so much for being on with us today. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in and looking forward to our next episode at Pathmonk Presents. Thanks a lot, Kaili.
Thank you.